So our next presenter is Dr. Nana Karlstetter, and she works for the pep.Foundation in Switzerland, and she will introduce us to some of the tools and topics that they're working on at the, is it PEP or is it PEP?
It's PEP.
PEP, at the pep.Foundation. So.
Yeah, thank you very much for the invitation. We're very happy to be here. And I would like to start with some quotes from the Cyberpunk Manifesto, which is one of our basic texts we try to align with. So you can see the quotes here. There are some principles in there. One of them is that we heard the definition of privacy earlier on already in Liz talks, and it's the power to selectively reveal what you want to show to the world. Like, you should have the power to be the owner of your information and decide what to give away and what not. And the second thing is that the Cyberpunk Manifesto says that we have to do it our own, so we cannot expect that somebody makes privacy for us. So it's another principle of empowerment. And the last thing I would like to point out here is that we try to make code that is accessible for all. So we don't try to have it as an exclusive community, we try to bring it out to the world so people can use it. Which one is it? Yeah. So PEP stands for Pretty Easy Privacy, and we're working with the IETF also to create PEP as an internet standard, if this tells something to some of you. And we use already existing security formats and try to or build protocols that automatize the operations of these existing crypto technologies. This means that we lower the barriers of deployment that usually are there in the use of encryption technologies. So we really try to take these things off from the user so the user don't have to do anything anymore. The pep.Foundation owns the core code, the core software of this Pretty Easy Privacy technology, and we independently develop this code. We also support other FOSS projects. We finance and coordinate code audits, and also we are engaged in political work. So with these four things, we try to create a profile and try to create an environment that, for us, allows it to bring privacy forward and to bring privacy to the people. And PEP as a technology is designed, or this is one of our goals, it's designed to encrypt all digital written communication. At the moment, we are at the starting point and we have solutions for email. I will come back to this later. And later on, we want to shift the standard of encryption. So at the moment, encryption is the exception. And in the long run, we would like to have it as a default. So the unencrypted communication is then the exception and not the encrypted one. And to achieve this, we try to make our software as a zero-touch and hassle-free solution so that it just installs and it just works. You don't have to do anything anymore. At the moment, it already handles OpenPGP and SMIME without any hassle for the user. This means it automatically encrypts email content in the subject line. No key management is needed. No key server or other central infrastructure is used. So it's all decentralized. I will come back to that as well. We exchange the fingerprints with trust words. So this makes it easy as well to verify your communication or your keys. And the header already is encrypted and obfuscated. So if you want to summarize this, PEP does what the user or what an experienced user would do. Instead of writing how-to guides or making more crypto parties as we did already, so the pep.Foundation came from this crypto party movement, so we know how crypto parties work, but we also know that people who attend crypto parties tend to forget what they have learned again, or they then use it and are not sure if they did it correctly. So we decided to put these learning messages from crypto parties into an automated protocol, so these needs are taken away from the user. And this allows us to have a zero-touch user experience for our software, similar to messaging apps like Signal also, so it happens all in the background. Apart from the encryption itself, one of our main focuses is that we have all our releases audited, so we have a very strong focus on that the things get audited, which is something that often in open source projects don't happen so much because there's no capacity for it. And I will now go to some specific features that the PEP technology has. Of course, it's all open source and free for the general public. This is to secure that there are no backdoors and code transparency, and as I said, we have a strong focus on having it audited. Yeah. The next main principle is decentralization. We want to avoid man-in-the-middle attacks. We heard about the importance of decentralization already, so I won't go into detail here. Also, this is to avoid monopolies. We heard about the big tendency to economically exploit everything, so we really try to put out technologies that function without these monopolies. And of course, central databases can get lost because, as you all know, there is no cloud, it's just other people's computers, and there are always people behind these computers that have interests in your data, maybe. Then the PEP software is made end-to-end, which means that it is device-based, and we have endpoint-to-endpoint encryption. This means that the keys are exchanged directly. And here's the trustword thing again. If you know these fingerprint lines from using PGP, for instance, then you know how they look, and you know that you have to be very focused to tell them to somebody, to compare them, to make sure that the keys are verified. So what we did is making a mapping to alphabetical letters, and then it's not comparing EC 5539 and so on. Instead of the app shows you this trust word, and you can just read it in your mother tongue language to the other person that you want to verify your communication with. Also, there is in development or under development a key synchronization solution, which then would be a real innovation because it also works on mobile devices. You can see here a schematic overview of how it is done. It's not released yet, but it's under development, and we hope to be able to bring it out soon. Here's a demo version screenshot already, and you can also see here these colors that PEP uses. So we have a traffic light color symbols that show you what to do, and also you can see here that it shows to the user very clear instructions what to do. And apart from these instructions, you don't need to know any other usage rules. So it directly shows you what you need to do to use it correctly if there is at all something that you need to do extra. And then what is also very important to us also in our work with the Internet Society, for instance, which is one of our partners, that we try to have it interoperable. So we want to support, or we do support different platforms. We develop for iOS, Android, Linux, BSD, macOS, and Windows. We support different programming languages, different crypto technologies, also different message transports. And as I said, the email solutions is just the beginning. So in the long run, we want to spread it over all digital communications, which is our intention. And of course, we support different devices. We already have solutions for mobile phones and desktop applications. These are the available releases so far. There is a PEP for Outlook available. We have a PEP for Android as a beta version. Then just recently, an Enigma release came out, and the iOS app is under development, and we expect it to be out within the next months. I don't know, maybe till the end of the year, something like that. Here I have some screenshots for you again. This is from the Android version, and again you see the color code. The gray color means that there is no encryption at all. The yellow one means that it is encrypted already, and which is sufficient for most of the users, and the green one means that you have compared your trust words, and then it is verified also. This is a screenshot, again, with the same color codes on the bottom from the Outlook version. And again, this just it installs and configures automatically, so you just download the app or the plugin and it does it by itself. In the long run, we would like, so this is one of our most interesting goals, I guess. We would like to also obfuscate metadata. At the moment, it's not really possible to hide them or to encrypt them. And even if this is in German you say Zukunftsmusik, even if this is something that you don't, it's in the future yet. So we haven't really started to integrate it, but we are working on using so far developed academic projects and academic research results to integrate, for instance, the GNU-Net technology, which is a peer-to-peer framework. That will hopefully then allow to also protect the metadata, which means that the complete social graph then will not be as easily being intercepted as it is at the moment. So as I said, email is just the beginning. From our intention, we're targeting the complete digital written communication. We want to roll out mass encryption. And of course, this does not solve the surveillance problem at all in a technical means. And also, it does not solve the societal motivations that drive these surveillance measures and that drive these developments that we heard about. But for us, it is a very important goal, and we are all very committed. And I think this is one of the things that also other people can do. Try to inform yourself and try to make up your mind. What kind of developments do you want? What kind of developments do you don't want? What kind of society do we want to have? And then try to develop the projects, try to develop your expertise that you're good in a way that it serves these goals and not give it away to intentions that you don't want to support. And this can be on a technical sense, but it can also be in political means. It's a question of what we want and where our hearts go to, which is a basic human value that won't go away, even if there are machines knowing about all kinds of stuff. Yeah, as I said, by default, without hassle, zero-touch user interface. Developers can also just plug it into their apps, so we have very, very easy APIs, so that if people want to use the PEP technology, they don't need to take care or don't need to worry about the encryption. They have very easy APIs, and they can just implement in the things they want to work on. Yeah, this was it from my side. Thank you very much. I would like to add one thing, because this is very new. We are actually just founded a PEP cooperative last week, so it's really brand new. We will be at Republika in Berlin presenting this new cooperative, and it's open to everybody. Shares are very affordable. You can get a member of this cooperative with 10 euros. So if you're interested to take part also in the decision processes, which kind of tools to develop first, and if you want to take part in this discussion and want to be part of the PEP project, then look out on the pep.Foundation website. We will have an own website for the PEP cooperative soon as well. So stay tuned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions for? Yes, right there.
Hello.
And what happens if your solution is used for illicit purposes? Let's say I integrate it, and then I have a court order that I have to decrypt in a way the message because there is, I don't know, some illicit activity.
It does not enforce encryption. So if you don't want to use it, you can just click and then it sends it open.
Okay, but once it's encrypted, can you reverse it?
Sure, if the other person has the key. I mean, of course, you can only encrypt emails if the other partner of the communication has a key too.
Okay,
and if the other person has a key too, then of course it can decrypt and encrypt the message that used this key pair. Yeah.
But if you don't have the key?
Then the other person can't read it, but then you cannot send it encryptedly to this other person. No? Okay. Yeah, Bernani.
I think your question is if the government comes to us and says, please give us the keys, we want to read what this person is doing, then we will just say, we are just providing technology, go to the person directly. I mean, they can also hack the devices, of course, we cannot protect against it. We are against, of course, such attacks, but we cannot do anything about it. So if they want to attack these devices or to surveil that person directly, like human intelligence kind of stuff, USB sticks into the device and such things, physical access, then that's the way they have to go. So we don't run a platform, we are not WhatsApp or Signal or something like that, we're just providing tools for device-based encryption. So the encryption is always being done from device to device. Of course you have mail servers in between, but you have just ciphertext there in the end.
So even if you wanted to, you cannot open the message, is what you're saying. You have to have the device.
No, we as PEP cannot do anything about that. Yeah.
Okay, we have a question over there. And right there, let's go there first.
The usage of encryption for normal people has always been a huge pain, so thank you for doing all this. But I've got a question. You know that people don't use email anymore.
Yeah, I know this is an argument, but it's an argument being around for 15 years already. And then I am aware of that the younger people use a lot of other digital communication ways and not email so much more. But for instance, in the corporate world, and if you want to buy something online or so, and also between those people that are maybe my age, more or less, email is still important. And as I said, we know that email is just a part, maybe a part that gets smaller, maybe not. I don't know, I cannot look into the future, but we know that at least we have a solution for email now. And maybe it's also just, even if it's just good to get the idea of that encryption is easy into the heads of the people, this is a success already.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we have one more question over here, yeah.
Thank you. So can any user download your plugin and use it with their emails, or is it just more for developers?
No. It's available in the app stores. You can get it on Android and Google Play.
Okay, and also desktop solution. Great, thanks.
Excellent, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.